I'm an engineer, and for me, it's very important to understand the steps and evaluate every step I'm going through. So let me explain. I have a desire, right?
Breathe deeply and get your voice out into that microphone.
Okay, so I have a desire, and I manifest it and say, I want X, or I want Y, or I want something. And I meditate, and I try to see myself in this situation, right? Or with somebody, or at work.
Yeah, but if you do that too soon, if you try to force that vision before you're ready, then the very effort that you make is counter.
Bingo. That's what I want to talk about.
And this is the distinction. You're going to like this. All of you will like this. This is the distinction. One simple statement. Are you the thinker of the thought, or are you the receiver of the thought? Because they are not the same. Because if you knew the answer, you could just think the thought and go do the stuff, right? So you're in the receiving mode. You're receiving the inspiration and the guidance and the impulse and the right place, right timeness. You're receiving it. But if you work too hard at being the projector of a thought, often you're not in the receiving mode. Do you know, a question and an answer are different frequencies. A problem and a solution are different frequencies. So in your very strong thinking, very often you're just compounding the problem, and you're not letting yourself get into the receiving mode. So if you think in terms of step 1 and step 3, all right, I've asked the question, I've identified the problem, now I'm getting into the receiving mode, and I'm getting ready to be ready. So you're listening rather than speaking. You're listening or feeling for the thought and the impulse, rather than telling the universe what you need it to do for you. Hear the distinction? Big time.
Right. But when I came to the physical world, right? So what's happened, I have a desire to find a job,
yes.
Right? So I get myself ready. I know it's coming. I have no doubt about that. I practice.
If that's true, then it comes, and it comes fast.
I played and practice with you.
Yes.
And I found out, and I look back to my life, and everything what I achieved, including come to this country, is exactly how
yes.
you explain it.
Yes.
So I did the preparation, and I went through the number of interviews, and you look at this, and they are not taking me. Look at me. And then I realize I am the one who is doing this wrong vibration. That's why they are not taking me.
Maybe. But here's the thing. In this win-win situation that we're talking about, where your job is in your vortex, and you, the doer of this job, is in their vortex, where you have something to give them and they have something to give you. In other words, it's already been defined vibrationally. So you, let's say, and hear this, let's say that you're a little less in alignment than you think you are, and you're a little more determined and desperate than you think you are. So you're acting yourself into an interview, and you're applying for a job you really don't want. Because while it has some components of what you want, like money, it doesn't have other components like respect for you, like understanding of your talent, like room for you to grow into the expansiveness that matters to you, like the autonomy that is so important to you. It's a job, but it's a job in name only. And so then it doesn't happen, and you think, what am I doing wrong? And we say, or what is the universe doing right?
Yes. So I read it differently, but I'm totally right, agree. So how I read it, I said, like, you probably did not ask right question.
But see, here's the thing. When you come to that conclusion and start reprimanding yourself, you're not in the receiving mode. So the stance you want to take is, I'm getting ready to get ready. I'm getting ready to get ready, and something didn't line up, but I'm getting ready to get ready. And when I'm ready, The next step will come, and the next step will come, and the next step will come. And I'm not going to get in that hurry place of trying to get the seed out of the ground and demand that it be the vegetable that I want it to be. I'm going to give it a chance to be what it is. So this is what we want you to take away from this conversation, because we really do know. We really do know. What you want is ready for you. It's ready for you.
I believe it.
And it's only slight tweaking for you to be ready for it. Just give it a week. Don't panic in the interim. Take pleasure in the getting ready, because what most of you do, we love you so much, you get ready and then you say, now? And then you're not ready. And then you get ready. Oh, you get ready. Now? And then you're not ready again. And so you just sort of make this little rut where you don't feel good, and then you do feel good, and then you don't feel good, and you do feel good, but you haven't really gone back at the beginning where, hear this, where you've allowed the momentum of alignment to carry you all the way through. If you're just improving it over here, Esther realizes that through a little bit of misunderstanding of what we were teaching, she did a few thousand focus wheels that weren't that productive. As something would bother her, and she'd focus wheel, and she'd feel a little better, and then it'd bother her again, then she'd focus wheel, she'd feel a little better, and then it'd bother her again, and she'd focus wheel. And so she just kind of had this pattern. This is who I now am. I'm happy, and then I'm not, and I'm happy, and then I'm not, and I'm happy, and then I'm not, and then I'm happy, and then I'm not, and then I'm happy, and then I'm not, and I'm happier than most people, but I'm happy. But I've got higher standards now. I know how to be this. I know how to be this, and to take it all the way home. And I do it often enough that when I don't do it, then I'm mad at myself. But you can't be that.
Exactly. You just described exactly my feelings.
Really?
So, so I understand, and I made the adjustments, and here the offer comes. And 3 months, 6 months, you realize everything what I asked was kind of filled. Thank you very much, universe. I appreciate that.
Yes.
However, it doesn't feel satisfactory.
Well, here's
right?
the thing, because it feels satisfying, and it feels satisfying, and it feels satisfying. This is what we meant. Now stay with us. You're really going to like this. It's what we described earlier. Contrast causes me to ask, but what I'm asking for doesn't feel normal to me, because I'm used to being over here. So now I'm thinking about what I want, and I'm looking in the vortex, and I'm feeling for the emotion of it, and I'm not being too specific. So I'm not messing up my energy. I'm staying general about it. And I manage to feel pretty good, and I line up with it, and I click into place with it, and boom, it manifests. And then it brings with it, with the manifestation comes the things to see, which actually are more contrasting in nature. Now listen to this. You're really, really, really going to like this. This is right out here on the leading edge where you are. When we say to you that most of your empires and magnificent things are created before the manifestation gets to the place where you start nailing boards together and putting bricks in place, because you do most of your creation, more than 99.99% of it, vibrationally before it starts turning to the thing. So most of the work is done vibrationally. So we love you so much, you do this magnificent vibrational work, unfolds, and then it manifests, and now you got people to deal with, a schedule you have to keep, things to do, and it's easier for you to be in the receiving mode before you've got so much to deal with. Remember when you wanted your children? Before they got here, remember? Remember the dream of them? Before they brought with them all of their whining and complaining and running. We're just playing with you a little bit. So what we're saying is the manifestation that you've been asking for is the thing that messes up your satisfaction factor. Oh, because there's contrast in every manifested moment. Now, hear this. This is another really important thing to talk about. Every moment is a manifestation. Every moment is a manifestation. So if you're using this manifested moment to meditate and feel satisfied and to feel satisfied and to feel satisfied, moving along, and then you take the job, well, it is logical that once you step into the job that there's more detail for you to experience contrast and more for you to launch into your creation, because if you could ever have a manifested moment in time that did not produce more step one moments, you'd be finished. So you will never have a manifested moment that doesn't produce more step one moments. Oh, Abraham, that means I'm never going to be happy, right? No, it means that you understand that step one is essential to the ongoingness of that which you are, and you don't jump to the conclusion that you failed by not creating the perfect manifestation that solved all things forevermore.
So that's what I wrote.